a very pleasant Saturday morning to you all. It's time for Saturday Morning Coaches Show. We're going to go around the county. We'll talk to all the area football coaches about their games last night. And we're just about to get underway with Andy Dorrell here in just a moment from CMA, who got a big win last night. Let's run the scores down for you real quick. It was Valley over LaVille, 38-28. Triton defeated Winnemac, game you heard right here, 35-6. It was Plymouth over Wawasee, 21-20. Knox, 42, Glenn, 22. CMA defeated Hammond Central, 35-6. It was Bremen in a comeback win, taking a 29-22 contest from Genttown. And North Judson defeated Culver, 41-0. Like I said, we'll be with Andy Dorrell here in just a moment, so stay there. It's a Saturday Morning Coaches Show here on Max 98.3.
Just coffee. It deserves Big B coffee. From velvety lattes to our famous sweet foam cold brews, every sip is brewed with love, laughter, and a splash of fun. All first responders and veterans receive a free brewed coffee and 20% off their entire order. Students and teachers receive 10% off with a valid school ID. Have the best day ever by stopping in to your family favorite local coffee shop where every cup comes with a smile and every day starts brighter. Stop in today and let's make it a big day. Big B Coffee, have the best day ever, located on Columbus Drive in Plymouth.
Who doesn't like pizza, right? But have you tried the pizza at Bourbon Street Pizza lately? More fresh ingredients and a new pizza sauce recipe. It's like a slice of heaven each and every time you take a bite. And now there's 16 new style of pizzas for you to choose from on the menu. And let's not forget the mouth-watering wings or their 5 different pasta dishes to choose from. Bourbon Street Pizza with area locations in Plymouth, Culver, Argus, Walkerton, Napanee, and in Bourbon. If you're looking for a quick and delicious dinner for the entire family to enjoy, look no further than a Bourbon Street Pizza location near you.
And Andy Dorrell steps in with us here to lead it off on the Saturday Morning Coaches Show, head coach at Culver Academy. And the sun is going to come up a little brighter this morning, isn't it?
Oh, it's always a great day after a victory, and excited for our boys. Played so well last night, and senior night honoring our 10 seniors, so it was a lot of fun.
Talk about it a little bit. I mean, the last few weeks, it doesn't seem like you've had a terrible time scoring points, but the defense came alive last night, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. We were able to get a little pressure on the quarterback, forced 2 turnovers, a couple fourth down stops, and it really was a night where the team came together. They played hard for each other. The offense controlled the ball and really kind of dictated the tempo from the start, and really contributed to a great team win.
I know earlier in the week we talked about how, the emphasis was that your defensive front had to be a little bit meaner, a little more physical. Did that happen?
Yeah, it did. Our linebackers played extremely well. Our inside linebacker had 5 tackles and 5 assists, a tackle for a loss, and a sack in the first half alone. So we were able to bring a little pressure last night, more traditional offense. Last 2 weeks we faced double tight end, fullback fields, and that really is not our forte to match up against those kind of fronts. And last night they were more of a spread offense, and our athletes could kind of perform in space and really contribute to our defensive success.
And like I said, the last few weeks you haven't had a terrible time scoring points. I mean, you've been over 20 every one, 35 last night. How do you feel about your offense from last night?
Yeah, every game this year we've scored more points consecutive weeks. And last night, Ainsley Ritchie had 2 rushing touchdowns, a receiving touchdown. Max Pasquale ran the ball extremely well from our tailback position. Owen Dorrell at quarterback was highly efficient. I think he was 12 of 15 for 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, really managed the game well. And our offensive line got off the ball, and something we've been working on and challenging them all week. And they all have new girlfriends. It's called our blocking sled. And they spend a lot of time with her during practice, and that's really worked out well for us.
Sometimes just getting back to the old basics, the old sled. I mean, it can make a difference.
Yeah, it sure did, and really proud of how those guys performed last night. Got off the ball, huge confidence builder for them to be able to rush the ball the way we did, and just looking forward to how we can build upon that moving forward.
Talk about the confidence factor of that too. I mean, getting that first win, getting it off your back, and realizing you can do the things you need to do. I mean, that's got to be a boost emotionally.
Yeah, it all kind of came together. I felt there's been 3 games this year that we've played well enough to win, but we made a couple mistakes that did not allow that to happen. And you do it to yourself. And last night we were able to make the plays that we needed to and minimize our mistakes. And really, I think the only thing that really hurt us was 2 personal fouls that we can look back on. And, those were more of aggressive fouls that occurred, tackled a guy out of bounds. So I'm not too upset about that. But overall, just a pretty clean game. The way we executed, attention to detail is so important to us. And last night, the kids were able to put a game together that we could all be pretty excited about.
And I know how much emphasis you put on special teams. Do you feel like those came alive tonight?
They did, yeah. Rafa Muniz was very effective. He was 5 of 5 on PATs. Just missed a 30-yard field goal at the end of the game. And we're excited for the progress that he's shown, and we covered the kicks well. We did not punt all night, so that's also a real bonus. Whenever you don't do that, you're probably in a good position to win, and we were able to do that.
Yeah, not punting all night. That doesn't happen often.
No, and it's one of those nights where it just kind of came together and how we moved the ball and the positions that we were on the field didn't need that to happen. So, yeah.
A lot of positives last night, but I'm sure you saw some things that you want to clean up. I mean, what did you see that you need to work on?
Still offensive line. I mean, we did give up 1 sack. We really wanted to set the tone with that line. Our defensive line as well did a good job pressuring the quarterback, but having those guys understand the physicality and the one-on-one battles that must be waged every time on the trenches is so important. And bringing those guys along, continue to help them develop is something that's going to be a major point of emphasis moving forward.
Yeah, I just don't think it can overemphasize the importance of that offensive line because nothing happens without them. You can have all the skill backs you want, but unless those guys are keeping people off of them and giving them a chance to make plays, nothing's going to happen.
You're so true, so right, Rusty. You've been doing this long enough to know that's where the games are won and lost up there.
Yeah, I just remember watching game film with my dad and Gary Cox. They had no idea who had the ball, but they knew where their backside tackle was every single play.
Yeah.
Talk about moving forward here now, too. I mean, you've got Kankakee Valley has a good football program, and you go back on the road for the next 3 weeks. I mean, that's a grind.
Yeah, it is, and we got to get that keep this momentum going, and we're playing the best football we played all year right now, and that's kind of the nature of our program is just to improve week by week. And we were a better team on Friday than we were the previous Friday, and that's what we want to do this week against KV. They had a tough game against Hanover Central. They had some opportunities and just missed out on those, so they're going to be anxious to get a win as well, and we need to get on the bus and get over there and play a highly competitive football team and have a chance to be successful. Is going to be determined by how we prepare this week and what we're able to do with moving the ball and controlling the line of scrimmage.
Well, Coach, thanks for the time, and coach them up, get another win, and we'll have another nice talk here. We'll catch up with you this week.
Yeah. Thanks, Rusty, for all you do to support high school football. It's a great day to be an Eagle.
It sure is. Andy Dorrell, head coach at Culver Academy. Stay there. We'll be right back.
Coke Zero is now Coke Zero Sugar with great Coke taste. Some people were excited to hear the news. Some were skeptical. So we're not going to have the star of the show you're watching come out and say, "You'll love it." No special jingle written by this week's hottest pop star. No famous internet celebs who happen to be holding the label just so. Okay, maybe just one little portion. The only thing that will make you believe Coke Zero Sugar has great Coke taste is trying it yourself. Ice cold Coke Zero Sugar. Try one today.
Who doesn't like pizza, right? But have you tried the pizza at Bourbon Street Pizza lately? More fresh ingredients and a new pizza sauce recipe. It's like a slice of heaven each and every time you take a bite. And now there's 16 new style of pizzas for you to choose from on the menu. And let's not forget the mouth-watering wings or their 5 different pasta dishes to choose from. Bourbon Street Pizza with area locations in Plymouth, Culver, Argus, Walkerton, Napanee, and in Bourbon. If you're looking for a quick and delicious dinner for the entire family to enjoy, look no further than a Bourbon Street Pizza location near you.
Back here at the Saturday Morning Coaches Show, Max 98.3. Austin Faust, the head football coach at Culver, joins us here. And another tough one last night, but we were watching the score. I mean, you were with them in that first half.
Yeah, we were. Our kids came out and played really well defensively. Accepted the challenge that we kind of put forth all week, and we kick off to them, and they take the opening kickoff for 6. We just, again, one of those. It always seems to happen where when the returner drops the football, it seems to be where you have your best returns. And that's kind of what happened. He dropped the ball, and the ball kind of went backwards on him, and he picked it up. And kids in the at every level, right? They seem to run out of their lanes, and they took it back for 6. And then we came out and tried a little trick play, got a pass interference on it, and then we threw a long pass to Jordan Green, who took the ball to the 3-yard line. And then everybody's excited, feeling good, and then you look, and there's a penalty flag for a hold. And it kind of seemed like offensively that was kind of our night. Any big play, there was a penalty. It was just one of those unfortunate things offensively. We really couldn't get anything going. We knew Judson was really good defensively. It was going to be tough to move the ball on them, kind of how we had been playing offensively. So we kind of just said we're going to go empty, spread it out, and just try to move the ball. By quick passes and one-on-one matchups and things, and we just didn't get enough help on the O-line for just giving Jonas some time and things like that. And when we kind of did, we got some penalties because Judson's good up front, but defensively, in that first half it was 29-0. Like I said, we gave up a kickoff for 6. We threw a pick 6 because we tried to check with me, and our far side receiver didn't hear the route, so ran a different route than what our quarterback thought he was going to run, and ended up throwing a pick 6. So I mean, you take away those 12 points right there. It's a 2-score game at halftime, really, and our kids defensively, we made them earn it. I don't know, but really, I was trying to think of what their longest touchdown was, because our kids made them earn everything and take drives. And we had 2 red zone stops, 4th down stops on defense. We had recovered a fumble on defense. We blocked 3 PATs. So there was a lot of positives, a lot of things that we did to build off of.
Well, and the thing is, you're over there too. I've been over there more than once. That is one of the hardest places to be a visiting football team and go in there and win a game. That is a nightmare.
Yeah, it's different because you got the long walk from the school to the field, and then they have homecoming and they do everything before. And you're over there in the gym, but the AD says, hey, if we run long on homecoming, we're just going to stop the clock at 10 minutes. It's like, okay, well, how are we going to know the clock stopped at 10 minutes? So we go out in the field, we're ready to go, and 6 minutes is on the clock, and I was able to do some negotiating, so they would, we're walking on the field, and the Judson homecoming kids are just getting back in the locker room, so we were able to negotiate 6 minutes on the clock. So now you're out there for 6 minutes when normally you're out, you're coming out at 3 minutes, 4 minutes, getting ready to go, and so just some kind of different type things, right?
Yeah.
Our kids weren't used to do, and but again, our kids battled. It was it was, I don't want to say almost a light bulb moment, but kind of was. I think our kids found some things in themselves. I think our kids, especially defensively, realized kind of what they were capable of. Because we got contributions from all 11 guys. Things that we've kind of been coaching up in practice, and talking to guys about, like, hey, we got to start doing this now. we were getting things from. I thought Drake Zorch in the middle continued to keep improving as a middle linebacker as a junior and kind of being the voice of the defense. I thought he did a lot of good things. Theron Carrington, Coach Lambert at Judson couldn't say enough nice things about Theron Carrington, and he was kind of playing it over the nose quite a bit with his speed and strength. He caused a lot of issues for him, and then the rest of the D line and Skylar Greer and Isaiah Vela and Colton Falk and Shane Martin did a good job then of kind of creating piles. And you had the McEwen boys that did a pretty good job of on their rocket and things and turning everything back in. And then Braylon Jackson, a sophomore, as a safety, we were been talking to him about, hey, we got to come downhill on the run, and he started doing that last night. So a lot of good things defensively. Just offensively, we got to continue get back to the drawing board and get better.
You know, I like your front on defense too. I mean, those kids, there's a high motor in every one of them, and that goes a long way. I mean, Theron may be a little bit undersized, but he's got a lot of heart and he's strong as an ox. I mean, I just like your front, and I like the way they approach the game. It's obvious they love to play.
Yeah, it's we think our D line is pretty good for a 1A D line. Coach Kling and Coach Reno Zander do a really good job with those guys down there. And, Theron is a kid that, like you said, he is undersized, but, he's got speed, but he's also got the strength too to kind of match it. And then he's got the little Energizer bunny in him that just continues to just never stop. Because, I mean, it's one thing for him to play nose and get in the backfield and things like that. But it's another thing when he's playing nose and they run an outside play and he's chasing it down from behind. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing that that really is most impressive with him, is that he's has the ability to, and just not even just quitting on a play, where he's able to run things down. And when kids see him do it, we have other D linemen. Colton Falk plays right next to him in that defensive tackle, and he's a freshman, but he does a nice job for a freshman, and he's got some speed and athletic too. And, he kind of feeds off Theron. And then I thought Isaiah Vela kind of showed his strength. We had, again, the last 2 years playing Judson, I mean, we've kind of just been pushed around up front. And, we were kind of worried it was going to turn into just an ISO fest, right? Where they were just going to try to run it down our throats. And I thought we did a really nice job of just kind of creating piles and playing with our hands and not letting it turn into that. They might get a 5-yard, 6-yard gain here, but then the next time, it's a 2-yard gain or it's a 1-yard gain, that kind of thing. So again, we're just really, really proud of our guys on that side of the ball. And we got to just continue developing our offensive line and finding some things to get a little bit of a run game to take some pressure off our passing game. But I think there's a lot of bright spots, and I think our kids too are starting to kind of realize how fast the football season's going. That there's not much time left. I mean, it's crazy how fast the season goes, and we're getting ready for week 6 already, but we did definitely see improvement from week 4 to week 5. So like we told our guys, we can't let this just be an anomaly. We got to keep stacking days, and we got to keep stacking good days and improve and then hopefully go into Caston and get a victory next week.
You mentioned a little bit earlier light bulb moment, and every team has those where suddenly it goes on and says, now I get it. Do you feel, because you have a lot of young guys who many of them playing their first Friday nights, you feel like that's at least starting to move towards that?
Yeah, I think so. Again, we kind of talked in the locker room, before the game, before we walked out there, just what football really is. It's a team game, but there's 11 matchups, 11 one-on-one matchups essentially. And we just told our guys, go out and win your matchup. If you don't win at this play, go win at the next play. I mean, that's all we got to do. And we just kind of talked about, like, these are the memories you're going to talk about. These are the memories, like, hey, remember when we went in the Judson and nobody gave us a chance and we did this and we did this and came away with this. And, you could kind of see the guys before the game, kind of nod their head, and you could kind of see that they were ready for the challenge, and what was set forth in front of them. And again, to their credit, we come out and did a lot of really, really nice things, and things that we hadn't seen. And, maybe if we play this way in some other weeks, we would have been having kind of different conversations and things. But, that's part of just the growing process with having 14 to 18-year-old kids, and kind of understanding it and figuring it out. And again, I think we're starting to. And then, now it's us as coaches to keep bringing that out into them. And, again, not letting us kind of go backwards in a sense. And, it's going to be a different – casting's going to be a different challenge than what Judson does with what they do offensively. But, again, if we can just keep getting this same stuff in production like we had out of our kids, and, again, especially just in high school football defensively, if you can make teams earn it and not give up big plays, one-play drives, things that we've kind of done, you're gonna set yourself up. It's kind of the old, Bobby Knight quote, right? Don't underestimate the ability of the other team to screw it up. and that's kind of the thing, if we can make teams earn it, you never know what's going to happen, right? Where there's going to be a big penalty, or they put the ball on the ground, things like that. Where we just talking to our kids, give ourselves a chance to keep playing. And we did that last night, and had a lot of good things. Again, there's you don't want to compare Judson how they were 2 years ago, but in our kids' minds, there's just some moments where they had the ball, fourth and goal right at the end of the quarter. Probably the last 2 years they have a play call, they know exactly what they're going to run, and they punched in for a touchdown. This time they chose to take it to quarter so they could talk, and they spent a long time in the huddle talking, and we come out and we get a stop. Those little things that we're trying to tell our guys. And we kind of we told them, like, hey, every play you make, they're going to get a little bit tighter. You're going to hear the yelling from the stands. You're going to hear you're going to hear the, hey, block somebody, or come on offense. And we started to hear that in the first quarter and in the second quarter, things like that. And I thought it kind of maybe at the end of the second quarter it started to kind of snowball a little bit, but our kids did a good job kind of adjusting themselves defensively, and not making it turn into a worse game and that kind of thing. That was the nice thing. We kept competing, we kept making them earn it. I didn't want it to, didn't want it to turn into a game where it just looked like, all right, we kind of gave up and they're just running by us and we're not tackling. We tackled all night long, and then our JV got there at the end against their JV and did some really nice stuff too as well. So, our young guys got some experience. Zach Zahner got his first high school completion to Reese Carter and Ryan and Carter Beam. So, some of our freshmen got some of the first stuff on a varsity night. So, they're excited for Monday's JV game against Judson. So, yeah, we just got to keep moving forward now.
Is there anything in particular, that you really feel has to get better for you guys to be where you want to be? Or is it just a general thing of believing in their preparation?
I think just our offensive line play. We've got to be better. Because, it's the same kids for the most part. It's really the same guys that play defense on our D line, besides Theron. And it's not more of the scheme thing. I think it's just, okay, now we kind of need that light bulb moment to come over here on the offensive side of the ball. And really a lot of our problem is just kind of letting off our blocks maybe a little bit too early, half a second early, things like that, if we had stayed on our blocks, then we had a little bit of a crease or a little bit of a hole kind of thing. And, that's the kind of stuff that I think we just got to continue to get better at. And I think we're capable of. I think our winning that game, again, there was a lot of run plays where, we just get this one guy blocked or stay on a little longer is a bigger play. But, we didn't run the ball as much against Judson just because we knew it was going to be pretty tough. So it was more kind of, hey, we got to be able to pass block. And, it's a little bit different for kids, high school level, to pass block and move it and staying in front of guys and not wanting to lunge and things like that. And, they came after us and we knew, they were going to blitz and things. And we got some penalties and stuff just from, them sending some blitzes or, coming after us kind of
Right.
thing. And, they're coached up really well. Even when you tried to go, a little check with me to try to get them to jump, they weren't moving. So, it made it kind of hard to change up our snap count on us. So that was kind of tough too on our O-line. But, I think if we can improve that, we're, you're going to see, some real good things come through our way offensively.
Talk about Casson a little bit. I know you haven't had a chance to really take a good hard look at him, but that's one of those teams that every time I've seen a Casson team play, they leave it all out on the field. You're going to get max effort for the whole night, and that's one thing that they always bring. But what are you looking at when you've seen them limited a little bit here before you go to the game?
Yeah, they're kind of a young team. They have some really nice skill kids and some big linemen. You'll see some of the, if you watch them on film and things, or even see them in person, because we played their JV team already earlier in the year just to try to find a game. When they didn't have a game, we didn't have a game. You kind of ask yourself what's in the water down there at Fulton, because there's some good sized kids and they got some nice athletes. I think their sophomore class, when they were in middle school, I think they were undefeated. And I don't think anybody really touched them. It was even close, I don't think. But so they got some really, really nice pieces. They changed their offense up from last year. They're more just kind of a traditional wing T team. They got a nice receiver that they put out there and get one-on-one matchups with. So they do a lot of good things. And then, like you said too, they just play hard. They play hard. They got kids that are in a lineman jersey, but he's playing linebacker and he's flying all over the field and things. And they got guys that are in running back numbers that are playing D end, like we have with Farron, and that are fast and going to cause issues. So they're a nice team that is going to be confident. They had a big win against South Central, and I think last year they got us by 1 point. So our kids have kind of had a sour taste in their mouth. So hopefully we can have a good week of practice and improve in those areas that we want to see improvement for and go over and get a W. Casson's got a great field. It's always well taken care of and things. So it's going to be a fun night. Hopefully, it should be a great night.
Still there?
Yeah, sorry.
That's okay. I thought I was losing my hearing. I'm an old guy, man. I get scared at moments like that.
No worry. I'm out here in the boondocks in the country. Sorry about that.
Well, Coach, I'll tell you what. Have a good week of practice. Get that W, and we'll catch up with you during the week.
All right. Thanks, Rusty. We appreciate it.
That's Austin Faust, the head coach at Culver, and we'll be right back.
Absolute Plumbing, Heating, Cooling of Plymouth has become one of the leading service companies in northern Indiana. Serving Marshall, Stark, St. Joe, Fulton, LaPorte, Elkhart, and Kosciuszko County since 2014. They specialize in residential, commercial plumbing, heating, and cooling services. They also handle drain cleaning, water heater repair, commercial refrigeration, furnaces, generators, and much more. And they're the area's only York brand dealer. That's why Michiana has made Absolute Heating and Cooling their one-stop shop for service needs. Locally owned and operated with over 20 years of experience in the trade. Visit their website at absolutephc.com for complete service information. Absolute Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, the area's top York brand dealer.
Culver's Portside Marina handles all water and recreational needs. When it comes to pontoons, Godfrey leads the industry in performance and quality, and Portside Marina has them in stock. From Sanpan, Aqua Patio, Sweetwater, and Monaco pontoons, if you're looking for a family boat, Culver's Portside Marina can help. Discover the evolution of the wake boat through luxury models offered from Centurion and Supreme Surf Boats. Yamaha Wave Runners and Kawasaki jet skis are on the showroom floor waiting. Located at 514 West Mill Street in Culver. Stop in or call them at 574-842-5000. Culver's Portside Marina.
And we're back. I think I've got the technical problems taken care of. Adam Hanley joins me. How are you, man? I think. Coach, you there? And hang on, we're going to have to try this again. You know, Bluetooth is a wonderful thing when it works, but when it doesn't, it can be a problem.
Hello.
Hey,
Sorry.
there you are. I knew you were there. I just couldn't find you.
Hey, yeah, I'm here now. Sorry.
You're off in the ether someplace.
Yeah. In the cloud.
Well, the cloud. Don't even start me on that. Listen, man, a great win for you guys last night at Wawasee.
Oh yeah. I mean, we talked this week. Like Wawasee's tough to play there, and like
Yeah.
just Plymouth teams going there is tough. Like I mean, I've only done it twice now, but just being around the guys and hearing stories about those games back in the days, like it's a weird, tough place to play. So we're definitely blessed and grateful to be out of there with the win for sure.
Yeah, I'm an old guy. I've been over there a lot. I can remember at least 3 or 4 undefeated teams going in there, and everybody's talking about how they're going to be run late in the tournament, maybe get to Indy, and they go to Wawasee and somehow lose. I mean, it's just traditionally been one of those weird places for a Plymouth team to win a game.
I don't know about, and you watch. I mean, some of the game film that we got of teams that were probably well better than them this season so far, like they were close games at halftime and even into the third quarter. So like, I think it's not just us, but a lot of people that go over to play there, have troubles with some stuff. So we got the job done just enough.
How do you feel about where you're at? I mean, it was 21-20. Did they miss an extra point? Joe and I were talking about that on the way home. Was it an extra point that made the difference?
No, they went for 2 and we got the stop. So when that happened, with their offense, just to not allow 3 yards on a play is fantastic, right? And they had a quarterback change. They had their starting quarterback go out last week, and we kind of had an idea who it was going to be this week going into the game. There was a kid that played for him last year, quarterback. So it was a senior, junior, senior. I can't remember what grade he's in, but that came in and ran their offense really well. And it was a bunch of quarterback runs, and they did a good job. But when we needed to stop with 3 yards, we got the stop.
You said it seems like that happens too. Hasn't that happened at least to you guys once or twice going over there and the quarterback's a different guy because the guy got hurt the week before?
Yeah, and with that style of offense, right, you're going to get some guys that get banged up.
Yeah.
It's just kind of part of the nature of the beast with that kind of stuff. But for the most part, it's just the next man up mentality. And, we had to follow that. I don't know if you had a chance to talk to your son or not, but we had just some stuff happening on our team and kids not taking care of what they needed to take care of during the day. And we had to have kids not play last night and next man up mentality. And Brody Lebo, a sophomore, got a ton of playing time last night. Probably, I don't think he necessarily started, but essentially played as a starter. We didn't play him for like first couple plays, and then he played the whole rest of the game. And that's just kind of where we're at right now with some kids. Like, if you're not getting the job done, we're going to find someone that wants to be here and play. And that's what ended up happening last night.
It seems to me, and you can talk to this if you want to.
Yeah.
But, you're your 4th year in, and it seems like numbers have gone up every year. At the lower levels, there seems to be a lot more enthusiasm. It seems like this program is now moving in the direction you want it to. And obviously, the ability to do that last night says a lot towards that as well.
Yeah, our numbers, I wouldn't say are as high as we want them to be. There's some small classes that we're going through right now, just with total numbers, and we're really kind of banged up injury wise across the board, like on all levels. It wasn't. We don't have the depth we want right now, but we got the right kids. We're just trying to find the right spot for each kid to go and contribute. And I think that was definitely the testament last night. We had your boy Carlos Carrillo. Played nose for about 75% of the snaps last night. Never played nose a day in his life. Goes out there and does it, and just did a great job for never. Had some plays where he didn't, but ultimately, if he graded him out, like he probably graded out okay, and never played a single snap of nose at the varsity level yet until last night. So just kind of that kind of stuff where we've been talking about, hey, you never know when your number's called kind of a thing, and being ready and that kind of stuff. And, we had, like I said, had some injuries this week in practice and just weren't really sure what it was going to look like on Friday night until that happened. And, just pleased with how everything went down.
You got to be happy with your line now. I mean, you made a few adjustments on the offensive side, and seems that things are moving in the right direction. Carlos is my guy. You know that.
Yeah, Carlos is your guy that knows, and Kevin just got me stats here from last night. We were wrapping up before you called. Ben had 19 carries for 160 yards. Finn had 15 carries for 100 yards. So we rushed for over 250 again. And Ben was 5 of 8, and 2 of those incomplete passes were just drops by our wideouts. So he really only had 1 true incomplete pass last night. And it was a chuck. Like, we didn't have the look we wanted, and he threw it away. It was right before halftime. We tried to run a corner route, and we said, if it's not there, chuck it over his head, and he did that. So really, he was almost perfect for the night. I mean, he had, like I said, 2 drops by our wideouts, and he was 5 of 8, and we ran for 250 yards.
Is he becoming a halfback in his old age, Jared? I mean, that was the thing we talked about at the beginning of the year, that his skill set was totally different at that position. But it seems like he's telling you he wants to run the ball.
Well, yeah, we talked all summer. We didn't know. We didn't. I think we thought, what we did with Xander last year and running him all over the place, we were going to have to take maybe a step back, or at least limit a little bit of it with Penny. But he's comfortable with it. He likes it. I mean, there's a couple times he gets up and kind of has a big old smile on his face. And we really haven't had it change a whole lot with the difference between him and Xander, to be honest. I mean, just some wrinkles here and there. With Finn, he's in his 3rd year running the stuff too, and it really just really starting to come into itself. And like you said, the offensive line. This is week 3 of the same group now, so I think we've got the guys we want. And they're continuing to get better, and it's just fun to watch.
Week 3, and all 3 of those are W's. I think that might be somebody trying to tell you something.
Yeah, no doubt. Like I said, we after the Columbia City loss, we got in here and just kind of looked at our depth chart and said, what can we do to change things? And the offensive staff got together and said, hey, this is what we're going to do here. Defensive staff got together, this is what we're going to do here. And we had to take some guys from. I mean, obviously, we took John from nose and moved him to center, and just moved some pieces around to find what was going to work. Obviously, we were 0-2; it wasn't working. So, take it, crinkle it up, throw it in the trash, and start over. What we're running is not going to change. It was just the right personnel in the right spots.
I'm sure there were some things last night that you really want to get better at. I mean, what's on the list for practice this week? Well,
I mean, we saw flex bone last night, and we're going to see flex bone this week. So, Warsaw comes to town, and I mean, Thacker is a I don't know if you wanted to call it a prodigy or whatever you call it of Bart Curtis. It's the same stuff. It's the same offense, just different people running it. And so it was good for our kids to see it last night. And we told them at the end of the game, hey, enjoy this win. Winning is hard, especially in conference, especially on the road, that kind of stuff. But don't be content, because next week you're going to see the same offense, and it's going to come at you faster, and it's going to be hitting. It's going to hit you like a ton of bricks, and we just got to be ready to go. So we got to have a good week of practice and, be ready to go.
How do you feel about your defense? I mean, the offense is obviously starting to click. Things are starting to hit. Defense has kind of always been there. Are they holding steady, or I mean, how do you feel about where? Yeah,
last night we had a lot of mental lapses on defense. Just trying to follow the ball, follow the eye candy, the round motions here and there, and then we get staring in the backfield, and then our wing crosses our face and goes for deep pass, and just little stuff like that. That if you don't, you try to simulate that kind of stuff in practice. We don't run that offense, right? So it's hard to simulate that offense in practice and give the defense the best look we can get. So until you see it live, it's tough. Now, after the first couple series, there's no excuse. We got to get better at just reading our keys on defense and just being ready to get down and dirty. I mean, it's like I said, it's a nasty offense that they want to get 3 yards here, 3 yards there, and we just got to get better at it. Going into this week.
You mentioned Bart. I imagine last year's game has been running on a continuous loop in their locker room, maybe for an entire year. He's just that kind of a guy. He doesn't like when somebody beats him. especially
Yep.
when
Yep.
he doesn't think they should. So I'm sure he's had a few discussions with his kids over the course of the last couple of weeks. You know you're going to get a lot from him, but, like you said, he's one of those guys, he'll run that dive with the fullback.
Oh, yeah.
14,
Oh, yeah.
15 times, and then bang,
Yep.
they'll slip a wing around the corner, and that's 6.
Yep.
In a way, I think for you it might be a little easier because you know what he's going to do. I mean, you know exactly what he's going to do, but actually stopping it is a whole different thing.
Oh, no doubt. And I think that we've caught each other in the off season at the clinics and the region meetings and stuff like that. And he just, he tells me, hey, you guys played harder than we did and that kind of stuff. But they're definitely, I mean, first of all, it's our homecoming. So of course they're going to want to come into our homecoming, even without all that kind of stuff, right? The Warsaw Plymouth rivalry, again, I've only been here 4 years, but all the stories I've heard of school in the East and blah, blah, blah. Like, you know what I mean? It is a fun rivalry, right? And I think, I don't know, 100 and something years, right? If I'm correct. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong,
I think so.
There's just something about it, regardless of the past games in the last couple of years, right? I think there's just something about getting ready to go for this game. I mean, heck, 3 years ago, they beat us 70-0, so I think there's something that, they want to make a statement. And obviously coming off a loss last night against Concord, they're going to be even more, hungry and ready to get back on track. And, they're 2-1 in conference with a bunch of other teams, and us and Mishawaka are sitting undefeated in conference right now. And, if you want to be in the contention and the talks for conference championships, you got to win games.
Yeah.
So they're going to definitely be ready to come out and try to hit us in the mouth, and we got to respond.
Just be happy you have turf. You might come out there on Friday otherwise and find a big W burned in the middle of the field, because that has happened.
Yeah.
That has happened on occasion. The other part of that, though, too, is that this starts a string. You got Northwood after that, Mishawaka after that, and Concord. I would put those 4 games in a row with anybody's schedule in the state as maybe the toughest month of football that somebody has to play.
Oh, absolutely. There's no doubt. I mean, even take away, take away our conference stuff. I mean, those teams are always in the mix and the talk in the playoffs in the north half of the state. So there's no doubt that this stretch is going to determine who we are, and it's always, great going into it, feeling good about yourself on a win streak and that kind of stuff versus going in after getting, you face beat in. But for the most part, we talked about it last night. Don't be content, enjoy it, but don't be content, because we've got a lot of work to still do. And like you said, Warsaw's going to come in ready to go, and we got to be able to respond.
How do you feel about your trainer, too? Because injuries are going to be, he's going to have pressure on him. You got to stay healthy through those 4 games, too, if you want to have any kind of a chance.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, we gotta get healthy first. I mean, we're beat up right now. And so over the next couple of weeks, if we can get healthy, then maybe, we can sustain some healthiness as we get through that stretch. And, obviously you want to be playing your best brand of football come week 10. I mean, conference championships are awesome, especially when you're in the mixed form and that kind of stuff. But ultimately, if we're healthy, come playoff time, that's when you want to be hitting the best version of yourself as well. And, we got some kids that we need to get healthy, and then we can see where they end up playing in the next couple of weeks.
Well, man, I want to thank you for taking the time this morning, and we'll catch up with you this week. We will be on your game this week, so
fantastic.
I'll be bugging you more than usual.
Hey, stop by. Practice is always open for you. You know that.
I know that, but I don't like being. Somebody sees me heading towards practice, and it's like, oh my God, what is that? So
no, come on by. Our kids think they're famous for once in their life. Let them enjoy it.
All right, man. Thank you, Adam Hanley, head coach of Plymouth, and we'll take a break. We'll be right back.
When it comes to your money, you want a bank that understands you. At First Federal Savings Bank, we offer more than just a place to deposit your paycheck. We're here for you every step of your journey. Need a loan for that new dream home? We've got you covered. Looking to save for the future? Let's make it happen together. From personal banking to business banking, we offer full-service solutions tailored to your needs, online, in person, or over the phone. No matter where you are, we're with you every step of the way. First Federal Savings Bank. We don't want to be the biggest bank, just the best. Borrowers must meet underwriting guidelines. First Federal Savings Bank is FDIC insured and equal housing lender. NMLS number 399927. Looking for a stable career in an industry that doesn't slow down? Hoosier Racing Tire in Plymouth, Indiana is seeking motivated people who believe in quality and want to work in a safe environment. With thorough training provided for all positions, no experience needed. Second, third, and weekend shift production wages start around $20 an hour with potential at $25 an hour within a year. Quarterly bonuses, paid time off, and health insurance benefits that start on day one. Apply online at HoosierTire.com. That's HoosierTire.com. Hoosier Tire is an equal opportunity employer.
Let's take a look at our scores from last night, if you missed them. First of all, Valley defeated LaVille by a final of 38-28. It was Triton over Winnemac, game you heard right here on the Max 98.3 game of the week, 35-6 the score there. Plymouth 21, Wawasee 20. Big road win for the Rockies. Knox defeated Glenn 42-22, but that doesn't tell the whole story of that. That was tied at halftime, and Glenn led a lot of that first half. So we'll talk with Ron Brown here in a little bit. CMA got their win, first win of the season over Hammond Central, 35-6 the final. Bremen came from behind in a thriller, took a win over Jimtown, 29-22, and then North Judson defeated Culver by a final of 41-0. Take a quick break, and we'll be right back. You are listening to Saturday Morning Coaches Show here on Max 98.3.
Johnson Danielson Funeral Home has been established in the community of Plymouth since 1879, and its staff is committed to providing care that goes beyond the expected in serving today's families who call Marshall County their home. They welcome families seeking options and alternative ways to pay tribute to someone, from burial packages to pre-planning to planning a checklist. The professionals, along with caring staff at Johnson Danielson, are available to assist your family 24 hours a day by simply calling 574-936-2829. Visit their website at johnsondanielson.com for a complete list of services. Johnson Danielson Funeral Home. Service beyond expectation.
There's a trend happening around the educational world. More and more high school graduates are attending smaller community colleges to start their educational journey. At Marian University's Ancilla College, we welcome students from all walks of life. The opportunities at Marian University are endless, from living on campus to being a collegiate student-athlete. From day one, your professors will help you create a plan for a success at Marian and beyond. Find out more about Marian University's Ancilla College through our website at marian.edu/Ancilla today.
And Rodney Eunice, the athletic director at Triton High School, joins me. Man, I'm not going to. We want to talk about your other sports going on, but I want to start. I hadn't been in your field house facility at all, and I was over there a couple of weeks for practice, and it was stormy. You had two football teams practicing in there. I mean, that has got to be a really great facility for you to have at your disposal just for that purpose. I mean, you can use it for almost anything.
Yeah, we definitely, it was a great purchase. When we got it built, gosh, it's I'm not even sure when it's been now. Or we're going on maybe 8-9 years now, and it's we enjoy it. It's kind of a gym that we're able to use. All of our PE classes go over there, and so it keeps our main gym, in better condition. And and then when we have bad weather, it definitely allows us to allow the football team to get in there if we don't have other practices going on, and it gives you enough space to be able to do some things. So yeah, we're definitely blessed.
Yeah, I was going to say that is a really it's a tough investment for a school the size of Triton, but it's such a great asset to have. And like you mentioned, even for PE classes, things like that, there's so many things you can do with it.
Yeah, Yeah, it really helps us come wintertime for practice purposes. We can get most of our kit, the junior high and high school, we can get most of them to practice after school and not have to have late nights.
Yeah, that's the big thing. Well, let's talk about your I want to start with your girls cross country team. They're having a heck of a year.
Yeah, they are, and I know we've mentioned this before, but, we've got some young runners. I mean, we've got a strong group of freshmen that are doing well, but, we've got 3 seniors that are leading them, and they're leading well, and it's good to see. It's sometimes, as a senior, when you get bypass, because times don't lie. If you have a better time, you're going to be one of the top runners, and but our seniors, they keep leading, and that's what's important, and it's really brought this program together, and they're doing well, and we're anxious to see what happens come sectional, and see if we can get some runners to advance, possibly even the team. You just never know.
That's been the thing. You've been in some big meets with some big schools with a lot of runners, and they're holding their own with everybody.
They have, and we've kind of fallen into that second place each time, but where we've been in the past to getting second place, that's pretty amazing. And so we're definitely pleased with the girls and what they're doing, and we just hope they continue with it.
And the boys too. I mean, you don't have enough for a full team, but you got a couple of guys that are out there every night.
Yeah,
and
we've got a couple of guys, and they're improving. Their times are improving, and that's all you can ask for. Unfortunately, we just don't have the numbers to fill the full team. But give credit to those boys that go out there and they run and give their best each week.
Talk about your volleyball team too. I mean, I haven't seen any of their scores. I'm underwater on a lot of things.
How they
been doing?
This was a busy week.
Yeah,
this was a busy week. Actually, the last 2 weeks has been very busy for the girls. Last week we played 3 nights in a row, and then we hosted a tournament on Saturday. And it's kind of a carbon copy for this week. Last night they finished their 3rd match in a row, and they go to Tippy Valley on Saturday. And this week, it was on Tuesday night we played Elkhart Christian, and we won in 4. And then Wednesday went to Jimtown and won in 5. And then last night went to Bethany Christian and won in 5. So the girls have had some marathon matches, and but they pulled them out. And so we're proud of the girls, and they just continue to improve.
Now, do you host the sectional this year, or is that someplace else?
It is at Oregon Davis.
Oh, okay. And once again, they're usually right there as a team that probably is going to be a sectional champion. What are you looking at this year with them?
When it comes sectional time, it's whoever is playing well at that time, and I feel like our girls are going to be right there in the mix. But there are some strong teams in our sectional, and so we will we'll see how we play when we get to that point.
I'm kind of at the same point on your tennis team too. I haven't seen any scores this week. It's been a little bit wild, but they have had a very solid, really a nice season.
Yes, they have, and again, we don't have a single senior on the squad, and these boys, they just we've got strong numbers in tennis, and so it's really been nice to see. We've been able to get JV matches and to develop those kids, and it's exciting to see where our tennis program is going.
Well, and the thing is, too, it's perennially been a very strong, all the way back. Even when I first came back to town 30 years ago, you had some great coaches, some great players. It's always been a really strong program over there.
Absolutely. And, we had a dip there for a little while, just lack of numbers. And, when you don't have the numbers, it's difficult to compete. And we've been able to get the numbers back up, and we got a great group of boys that are working hard. The coaches are doing well with them, and it's fun watching them compete.
Well, let's talk a little bit about your football team now. they're off to a great start, and they're hitting a point in the season that you're used to over the years that you had to deal with.
Yeah.
With those really, you got 3 top 10 teams coming up here in a row in the next 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah. We'll definitely, and the competition is going to get stronger, and our boys. Again, I like where we're at, but we still have some ways to go. And, tonight's not going to be easy. You can't look at records. And, our boys are going to have to battle strong tonight and just continue to improve on the things that they do. And I think if they do that, we'll set ourselves in a pretty good position for the remainder of the season. But it's going to be fun. I mean, our conference is strong top to bottom. And, I feel there are several teams that have an opportunity to win this conference this year, and it's just going to be who can string it together and stay healthy.
It's also that time of year when you're getting ready to go into that tournament as well, and you got a tough sectional coming up too.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's one of those when you finish week 9 playing North Miami and then turn around and you have North Miami in your sectional. I mean, you could play back to back, and I've never been a fan of that, but what can you do? And so it'll be interesting. But it's going to get here before we know it. But fortunately, we do have some weeks yet in between that we can continue to work and improve on ourselves to get better.
Well, Coach, I want to thank you for taking the time. I appreciate you spending some time with us, and I'm sure we'll run across each other a few more times before we get to basketball.
Absolutely. It's always good talking to you, Rusty.
Rodney Eunice, the athletic director at Triton High School, and we'll be right back.
MCF got its start in 2018 with one goal: bring fast, reliable fiber internet to Marshall County. Today, we offer lightning-fast speeds, equal upload and download with no contracts and no install fees. Whether you're working from home or streaming all night, Marshall County Fiber keeps you connected. We might be the new kid on the block, but we're growing fast, just like our internet. Visit marshallfiber.com or call 574-223-2191. MCF, making rural connections possible.
McDonald's restaurants in Plymouth and Bremen, Indiana are now owned and operated by local residents Bill and Flo Bolt. Bolt Enterprises are proud to own and operate all 4 McDonald's restaurants in Marshall County. Become part of the McDonald's family today with Bolt Enterprises McDonald's.
And we're back, the Saturday Morning Coaches Show here on Max 98.3. Jeff Kaiser, head football coach at LaVille, joins us in this segment, and it's another tough loss last night.
Yeah, we traveled down there to Tippy Valley, and it was another physical, hard-fought game. That felt like we were in the ball game for the majority of it, and clawed our way back in to cut it to 3 late in the game, and we come up short. Valley's a good team, well coached, got a good balance, and they're a physical team, and they showed why they're a force here in this Lawrence State Conference.
We were watching the score, and they did jump out ahead there. But, as it went on, we kept looking, and you guys, you clawed right back in there and stayed in that game to the very end. You got to feel good about the grit again of your guys.
Yeah, I'll never second guess the grit when, guys put the helmet on for us and wear our uniform. Our kids are mentally prepared for that, and we prepare to win every week, and some intense practices and this and that. But yeah, we kind of countered some blows early on, and we couldn't get a defensive stop, but then we were able to score right back on them. And right before half, we were making some adjustments and defensively, and we made one, and it kind of it hurt Valley a little bit what they were doing, and we held them to a field goal right before half, which was huge because they had momentum, and anytime you can keep, you want to keep them from scoring right before half, no doubt. But we kept them out of the end zone, forced them to kick, and we went at halftime with some belief that hey, we found something. We're going to continue to make some adjustments here, and our guys responded well to the adjustments. And like I said, we battled, and we just had a couple crucial turnovers in the second half that stalled the drive where we had them on their heels early on, fumbled the ball, and then they start moving the ball on us, and they fumble, we get it back, so it's kind of neutralized it, and then it was very next play we threw a pick six, and so and get it's just kind of one of those roller coaster games. We just couldn't get a break to come our way to carry that momentum and change that scoreboard over a little bit.
I'm sure you haven't had a chance to really sit and dissect it yet, but I mean, I know you watch film. Every coach watches film after the game. Break it down a little bit initially. What did you see?
Well, we had a grind practice this week. It was a tough week. We pressured some of the guys, and I thought they responded. And it started up front. We've talked several weeks, Rusty, about the O-line, and we got to shore some things up, and we got to be balanced. And I felt for the most part we made a big step last night. Again, Valley's big and physical and fast, and I felt we moved the ball pretty well on them. We didn't have a ton of rushing yards. We had a balanced rushing attack, but we got the rushes when we needed them. I felt Cole Stafford ran the ball the hardest he's ran all year. Turning and getting the 4 and 5 yards. So it starts with the O-line, and they responded well. It's a work in progress, and we'll continue to get those guys believing what we're doing and what we need to do. And Braden Schwitz orchestrated the offense very well last night. He made a couple calls, and called his number on one. He ran, 16, 18 yards for a touchdown to cut it to 3 late in the game. And, he made that call. So there's those positives, Rusty. You got a senior, and he's a leader and knows what we need to do. And he sees something, and he's not afraid to talk to us about, hey, this is going to work. And sure enough, it did. So, I was pleased with his effort. Defensive side, Braden Foster, again, he's our leader. He had 20, 24, 27 tackles last night. Kids just all over the place. So his leadership and abilities of what he's doing and the simple things, he gets it done.
And I'm thinking about your quarterback. I just think back to the game I saw you play a week ago against Bremen, and 76 was in pass coverage, and I was like, who is? Oh, it's Foster.
Yeah.
Because you don't see a 70 out covering anybody in pass coverage, and he's out there and he made a play, and I'm like, ooh, oh, okay, that's who that is.
Yeah, he's a smart kid. We've talked about that with his academics in the classroom, and he scouts well, and he can anticipate things so well because he does know the situation, kind of what's coming, and recognizes the formation or recognizes a guy's adjustment, right, by his alignment that we're lining up against. And, he's shifting our line for us at times and moving some guys around. And just a senior that's, he's played on this defense for, he's a 3-year starter now. So it's what's expected out of him.
And your quarterback too. I'm thinking you said he called his own number and got a score on there, but that's one thing I've also noticed about, especially offensive guys and especially seniors. Those are the guys that, when the game's on the line, they want the ball. They want it on their shoulders. They want that responsibility, and he seems like that kind of a guy.
Yeah, and we want that, right?
Yeah,
that's what you want. It's not. Sure, every kid wants to make a play, right? I mean, that's why they practice hard. That's why they go out and go battle. But there's something to be said when your leader does come over and say, "Coach, let's run this," and you do, and the next thing you know, he's running in for a touchdown. And it's that two-way street thing, right? Coaches and players, we all work together, and we're not afraid to listen to those guys, right? We're not afraid to, and it's just something to be said that those kids also know that they can come to us with that stuff, and we believe in that, and it's pleasing, and trust me, there's times where, they've made a call like, hey, we can do this, and we go to do it, and it doesn't work. Don't get me wrong, but it's very satisfying. Like I said, in a tight game last night, he come right over, and Coach Roseland, our OC, let's do it. That's exactly what he said, and let's do it. And next thing you know, he's running in for a touchdown. So, that's pleasing, and not only that, but he had 60 some yards rushing. He ran in 2 touchdowns, so his legs are going. And then he ended up, he completed, I think it was 8 of 17 for 236 yards, I think it was, in a touchdown. He hooked up with Connor Amore, had a great game as well. I think he had 3 receptions for 160 some yards, nice 90-yard completion for our first score right after we were kind of punched in the face. So, we just had different guys stepping up, making plays, and those guys are playmakers. We just got to get consistent with it.
That is an atmosphere, I think, that it's kind of special. I mean, the trusting your kids to come to you and them trusting that you're not going to I'll just be quiet and do what I say. They're in the game. They see it firsthand, and if they can come over to you and tell you what they see, that becomes a relationship that really works.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like I said, any kid can say, "Let's run this, let's run that," right? But when you have your leaders that understand what we want to get accomplished and what we've worked on, not only the week going into, but what we've worked on for the season, right? Those are the things you want. I've always said I'm not the perfect coach. I mean, I don't think there is one out there, right? And so you want your kids to understand that. Well, listen, I'll make mistakes just like you guys make mistakes, but let's grow together. Let's learn things together. And if he calls his number and it doesn't go right, I mean, we don't, we're not going to bench him, and he knows that, but it's also a tribute to, he called a run play. I mean, a quarterback calling a run play, right? And it's 16, 18-yard line, right? So a side of me sits back, as I'm watching that last night on film. It's like, day gone. He knew the message was to our offensive line, right? All week long. He's seen the work those guys put in. I mean, it wasn't easy, and it's a mindset, right? It's a true mindset. But, he put the weight on himself, but he had confidence in that line that we've talked about, been struggling a little bit. And so that's another mark. It's like, man, that's a great feeling, knowing that, he trusts himself to run that ball right behind that line that technically has been struggling a bit. So, the message of what we needed to improve, it was kind of like, Coach, watch this, and he put the weight on his O-line and they did the job. And man, there was a nice scene there, and he was gone. I mean, it was great. So.
Do you feel like you've made steps in the right direction on that line? I mean, I feel like you're saying you want to run the ball better and maybe a little more often. Do you feel like you're getting there?
Yeah. And it's a process. I mean, you're not gonna flip that switch in 1 week, and our guys got to understand that. And we're not gonna work hard 1 week and emphasize some things and some of the simple things, and then okay, we were better at it. Now we're not gonna work at it. Right. I told the guys last night it's a process, and we're gonna continue working at it. So yeah, I mean, it's satisfying the little bit extra time you've put in and emphasis you've put onto the staff, and and then the teammates seeing the work that's being put in over in the trench. And but it's a process, Rusty, but we did. I mean, it's been 3 weeks in a row we've talked about they need to shore it up, we need to get better, and we made a step. And so, we got to continue with those steps. We can't stay on this. Okay, we were better this week. We got better. Coach is happy with that. Yes, I'm pleased with it, but I want more, right?
Yeah.
I want more. I want to continue taking those steps to put us in a position to, okay, here's where we're at, and we can do, we can be two-dimensional. We're not going to be one-dimensional. So I was pleased with that. And then again, like I said, I talked about, Cole, our running back, he ran hard, and I think Rusty, it's a compliment to knowing the pressures on that line and knowing the grind they went through this week. And now I got to do my part, right? It's that the teamwork, and you've seen it. And it's just unfortunate we lost by 10, and it was just one of those games where it was like, man, if we could get a break here, okay, we got a break. Oh, day gone it. Just took it right back away from us type thing, But we hung around. I mean, that's a tough environment down there. It was their homecoming. Steve does a really nice job. They believe in what they're doing, and one thing, game's over and we're talking, and he just said, man, your guys just wouldn't go away, and that's something to be said. And that's very true. And that's the grit and the fight. And, we're going to we emphasized playing that 48 minutes, and we played 48 last night. I mean, it was just one of those things that punched us in the mouth early, but we were there, made adjustments, guys responded to it, and we just come up short.
Well, I'll tell you, I was just talking to Adam Hanley of Plymouth a few minutes ago, and he's got a gauntlet coming up, but you got one of your own. Knox next week, Glenn the week after that, Jimtown the week after that. I mean, you got a string of 3 games here that are just killers.
Yeah, I mean, it's no secret. I mean, that schedule's been out. It's like, Coach Hanley talked about. I mean, it's just one of those things. It is. You want to come out healthy each week, and you want to keep improving and realize and understand that this is what prepares you to the postseason. And it's as we head into week 6, you're peaking postseason. So yeah, it's no secret. I mean, I watched Knox films last night, and John Glenn looked really good against him. They're shoring some things up over there, and they're physical. So yeah, I mean, it's we're gonna have three tough ones in a row, and we take it a week at a time, day at a time, and roll up our sleeves and just continue trying to get better.
Tell me if I'm right or wrong. I mean, in a way, preparing for Knox, isn't terribly hard because there's no guesswork involved. I mean, you're going to see what Russ Radke has done for 40 years. And he's just saying, stop me. I mean, it's, what's coming, but the problem is, how do you stop it?
Yeah. I mean, it's no secret what he's doing. I mean, everybody in the United States knows what he's doing. I mean, they're putting it out. I mean, that's not exaggeration, that. But, and it's again, I listened to Coach Ham a little bit ago, and he was simulating that, and that's hard. Yeah. I mean, it's hard to do. I mean, it's number 2. I mean, It's no secret. You could put that guy in a fluorescent green jersey to make sure you know where he's at, but just finding football, that's where he's at. On offense and defense, both sides of the ball. But what they do up front is really unique, and it's trying to get your guys to play that, right? We don't do that, and so we're gonna simulate the best we can. We know two's the guy. I mean, it's no secret, and the thing with Russ is like some coaches hey, he's gonna run this until you stop it. When you stop, he's gonna counter it. Well, guess what? Russ don't stop him, they don't counter. He just okay, you stop me on one, you're not stopping me on the next one, and it's the same play. If he pulls 2 guys and you got there, guess what? He's gonna pull 3 the next time. I mean, it's just what they do, and so it's a good team, and we got our hands full, but day at a time we'll get better and block out the outside noise of all the exposure they're getting, and and credit to them. I mean, that whole team's creating that. It's not just 2 doing it. I mean, those guys up front are they're doing what they're supposed to do and creating it. But Miles is a guy you can't, and again, you can't simulate him in practice even. I mean, he's a water bug. I mean, you think you got him corralled, next thing you know, he takes a little hop step and the burners are on. And it's like, whoa, I thought we had that guy. Yeah. And every team has played him saying that. So, it's about us, Rusty, continuing to take those steps on the offensive side with the line and our schemes, and then defense. I mean, we're going to mix things up a little bit and maybe play a little non-traditional, but it's what you have to do. And if that non-traditional is not working, we'll go back to square one and play as hard as we can.
Well, Coach, good luck to you, and get that win. We'll have a good talk next Saturday. I'll catch up with you this week.
I hope, Rusty. I hope. We're going to work hard for that win. So appreciate your time, and then we'll talk.
Jeff Geiser, head coach at LaBelle, and stay there. We'll be right back.
At Marshall County REMC, they are more than just your electric provider. They're your neighbors, your partners, and your connection to a brighter future. Since 1936, they have been powering homes, farms, and businesses with reliable service, innovative energy solutions, and a commitment to our community that never wavers. It's not just about keeping the lights on. It's about keeping our community strong. Marshall County REMC, powering progress, powering you. Learn more at marshallremc.com.
seconds and we'll get going.
Your morning, it deserves more than just coffee. It deserves Bigby coffee. From velvety lattes to our famous sweet foam cold brews, every sip is brewed with love, laughter, and a splash of fun. All first responders and veterans receive a free brewed coffee and 20% off their entire order. Students and teachers receive 10% off with a valid school ID. Have the best day ever by stopping in to your family favorite local coffee shop where every cup comes with a smile and every day starts brighter. Stop in today and let's make it a big day. Bigby Coffee, have the best day ever, located on Columbus Drive in Plymouth.
Justin Begonia, head coach at Bremen, joins us. Man, we were watching that score at our game. That had to have been, I guess if you weren't coaching in it and just watching it, it had to have been a great game to watch. That sounded exciting.
Oh, yeah. It was. Like you said, nerve-wracking for a coach and a roller coaster of emotions, right? I've never been so tired after a game just from yelling.
Well, and, they just got that rivalry aspect to it, too. I mean, it goes back a long way, and maybe even more important for you guys, that's 3 in a row.
Yeah. I mean, that culture that I've been talking about and trying to establish that, with the kids as a new head coach. And, that obviously is a big part of that, right? The kids believing in what we're doing and then executing it on the football field. And then, just having, I guess, whatever coach and mindset or mentality you want your kids to have, we're getting there.
Talk about it a little bit. I mean, I'm sure you watched film last night. Every coach does after the game. I mean, on first impression, what did you see?
I really like our physicality. When we came in at halftime, I really talked to the kids about that, right? Like, I was like, these guys are not coming in here and pushing you guys around. You're standing toe to toe. You're giving, you're counter punching, every time they attack, you counter punch. And I said, it's just about execution now, right? Let's clean up our mistakes in the first half and let's go out there and put together a solid second half. And they did that.
Do you feel you had a better game offensively or defensively? I mean, obviously 29 points on the board against them is pretty
You got to
good.
know that answer. You got to know that answer.
Yeah.
It was defense. It was defense. 2 huge defensive touchdowns, fumble recoveries for touchdown. We started off the second half. I think it was second or third play, and hit him in the backfield, got a fumble, scooped and scored. It was about a 30, 40-yard run. So, setting the tempo. And then, and then all of a sudden, right, we're within 7 or 8. I can't remember, 7 or 8. And then, now it's just a one-score game. Anybody can win. So once we got it to that, and then momentum's a huge thing in high school football. And the second half, we definitely had the momentum.
Your defense it's got to give you a level of comfort as a head coach to know that no matter what, they're going to keep you in a ball game and give you a chance to win it every week.
Yeah, that's for sure, right? We've been talking about it now they're a big part of these last 3 wins and establishing and I guess the mindset and mentality that, they're able to go out there and perform and do what they're, whether it's a take away or a 3 and out and get the ball back to the offense. There's so many big possessions defensively in that game. It's hard to point to one, but I always tell the kids, right, that first series after to start the second half is the most important. It sets the tempo for the rest of the game. And they just, like I said, I think that was the biggest play was the hit in the backfield for the fumble and then the scoop and score.
And, I've been at this a long time. That's something I've noticed too. That first drive, whether you stop them or whether you got the ball and you score, it sets basically that's how the game's going to end is in that first drive in the third quarter.
Yeah, I mean, if they put together a drive and go down and score and go up 3, I mean, it's awfully hard to come back from that.
Right.
And so, yes, to get that, even if it was just to get good field position, right, and to get us on that side of the 50 to start the offense. Because then right after that, I believe we do get good field position, put together a drive and score a touchdown, tie the game. And then, and then it was defense from there, really.
Talk about your offense. Are they starting to, are they developing the way you want them
to? We're behind the defense, that's for sure. So that's still a work in progress. And, I felt like now we had, I don't know about everybody else, but since school started, we've been sick every week, like a kid gone, missing practice or, and then we had Ethan Britton was hurt last night, so he didn't play. He was an defensive lineman for us. So it's just, for us, it's just getting everybody there and then putting execution together, right? It's just when we got everybody, I see that improvement, and then when and that's the same for everybody. I can't really, Jimtown had injuries Friday night, so it's part of high school football.
Offense is really predicated though on that unit idea. Everybody working together, everybody knowing their job, getting in a rhythm. I hear him talk about rhythm all the time. I mean, if you're missing anybody that isn't or having somebody who isn't normally there in there, it changes all those dynamics.
Yeah, and then I wholeheartedly agree with that. And then also the kids, right? Like we talked a little bit about this in the past too, just having those kids there for 4 years, and then the system and the program, and then I've even got kids that are a little bit out of position, right? My quarterback was a receiver. My running back was a receiver from last year. The guys with experience. So now, now he's running the show, and now the other one's a big part, a lot more, of the offense than they were before. So that's new to them as well. And, getting them to click, everybody knows, right? Like the quarterback, like there's times in the game where we have to throw the ball or we have to do X, Y, and Z. And then, he not only does he have to communicate it, but then he's got to facilitate it. And so we're still working on that. We're still, that's still work in progress. We're still getting there. Hopefully we improve all year, I would hope, right? And then make sure we're peaking at the right time.
What are the things you saw last night that you really want to shore up this week? I mean, the focus of practice is going to be what?
Definitely the passing game. I think that turnovers, first of all, securing the ball. We had running backs as well. We had some unforced errors where it was just a dropped handoff or something like that. And then the passing game, we have to shore that up. We have to whether it's simplifying it and minimizing the reads or the routes that we have out there, and just trying to go from there. Again, just simplifying it and executing, I think, is what we need to focus on this week, and then building confidence, and then maybe getting a little bit more to the progressive routes and the little bit more complicated combinations. So that's what we're going to focus on, and getting better, right, and executing on offense.
This week you got a task in front of you. You got them at home at least, but Glenn, they looked really good last night against Knox. I mean, that seems to me like a program really moving in the right direction, and they're coming in after a really well played game. I mean, what do you think of them?
Yeah, I think that they got skilled kids all over the field, so they do pose a hard matchup for us. It'll be a big challenge for sure. I agree with you. I think they're playing good football. I got to see them last night's game. I got to see them play the week before at Jimtown. Like I said, they're skilled kids that they've got just as good and just as many as anybody. And then on defense, again, I think that they have a nice defensive line, and then the linebackers fly to the football. So that's going to pose another threat and challenges for this week for the offense. And we just got to get our guys ready enough for the challenge.
Well, Coach, good luck to you this week, and we'll catch up with you a bit later in the week, and we'll talk again on Saturday.
All right. Thanks. I appreciate it.
Justin Magonia, head coach at Bremen, and stay there. We'll be right back with more.
Absolute Plumbing, Heating, Cooling of Plymouth has become one of the leading service companies in northern Indiana. Serving Marshall, Stark, St. Joe, Fulton, LaPorte, Elkhart, and Kosciuszko County since 2014. They specialize in residential, commercial plumbing, heating, and cooling services. They also handle drain cleaning, water heater repair, commercial refrigeration, furnaces, generators, and much more. And they're the area's only York brand dealer. That's why Michiana has made Absolute Heating and Cooling their one-stop shop for service needs. Locally owned and operated with over 20 years of experience in the trade. Visit their website at absolutephc.com for complete service information. Absolute Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, the area's top York brand dealer.
Who doesn't like pizza, right? But have you tried the pizza at Bourbon Street Pizza lately? More fresh ingredients and a new pizza sauce recipe. It's like a slice of heaven each and every time you take a bite. And now there's 16 new style of pizzas for you to choose from on the menu. And let's not forget the mouth-watering wings or their 5 different pasta dishes to choose from. Bourbon Street Pizza with area locations in Plymouth, Culver, Argus, Walkerton, Napanee, and in Bourbon. If you're looking for a quick and delicious dinner for the entire family to enjoy, look no further than a Bourbon Street Pizza location near you.
Andy Barker, head coach at Triton, joins us here in this segment of the Saturday Morning Coaches Show. And I got to say, man, people are going to look at that final score, and they're not going to realize what a slugfest that was for 3 quarters.
Yeah, it's I knew that you couldn't look at their record and understand what kind of team they were.
Yeah.
And I knew they were going to be big and strong. But admittedly, I didn't think it was going to take us quite as long as it did to open it up. But eventually we did. And the game felt comfortable. I mean, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like we were out of control or not in control, I guess, at any point in time. But it was just small execution things. And, we had I think I told you, we had a flat week of practice, and then we came out flat in that first quarter. And, that's something we're not going to be able to do here in the next part of our schedule, but at least hopefully we got it out of the way and we can move on.
And you said earlier in the week when we talked, it wasn't going to be a secret. Both of you were going to try to run the football. And that is exactly what happened for those first 2 quarters. And each team had a player or two there where some good things happened. But for the most part, I mean, both sides were swallowing up that running game.
Yeah, it's it took a minute, and yes and no. I mean, we were over, I don't know, we're close to 200 and some yards rushing, 250 yards rushing or something. It was just for us, it was more of finishing at the end of the drive than it was really getting moving. The game within the game, right? And hats off to our defense, because I mean, their starting field position in the first half was inside our 50 most of the night. And I'm sure it was frustrating for Coach Atkinson. I know it's frustrating for me. And wow, what a defense.
I was just going to bring up your defense because I really, really like them. And I know Jaden's having a great year running the football for you, but it just seems to me like so much of your energy and everything else comes from that defense, and especially like your front 8 or 9. I mean, they are really, really good.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that we've clearly hung our hat on here at Triton is that defensive piece. And the boys play hard, and Coach Atkinson's schemes are solid, and it's very fundamentally driven, and that was always the goal. Like I don't want the guys, I don't want to have to put them in positions. I want them to be able to read and react, and that seems to be working pretty well for us. Toward the end of the game when we finally opened it up, I was talk on the headset, I think our defense, you'd have to check me on it, has only given up 14 points all year, other than the ones that have occurred over turnovers. The 6 points last night that they got, that was because of a turnover. Now, granted, they had to drive the ball down the field and score, but again, there's a number within the numbers that you try to pay attention to and limit, obviously, because it goes to momentum. Because when you give that ball up, you've given them some momentum, and then for them to capitalize on it creates even more momentum. So, you try to regulate what you can there.
Well, honestly, you've only given up 14 points in the last 4 games. That's, to me, that's astonishing. Your defensive average, nobody's scoring double digits. I mean, you're at 9.4 for the year. LaVille was the only one who had any success, and I mean, your guys are locked down.
Yeah, I think we gave up 6 first downs last night. So there you go, number within the number, and I can't remember what we had. I think we were at 15 or something first downs. And so when you start to look at total yards with us being somewhere around 400 and then them being somewhere around 100, there's your difference. And I don't think the time of possession was really that much different because, we're a little bit quicker getting up to the line and going most of the time. But, yeah, defense was stout, and they're going to be tested this week. So hopefully we can hold up.
Yeah, I was going to say, early in the game, they had first and goal, three straight possessions, and didn't score. So,
yeah,
that was huge.
It was. And, we talk about Gage Riffle often on the offensive side because of what he's doing for me at quarterback, but those couple of goal line stands, he had some breakups in the end zone. And with him coming across the middle like that, it makes slot receivers cringe, whether they'll admit it or not. They don't want to get hit by number 10.
Yeah, that was clear a couple of times.
Yeah.
I'm thinking in particular that one in the end zone that got dropped. I think he was hearing footsteps.
Yeah, when you get alligator arms, you're doing your job right.
Especially if you're a safety. That's exactly what you're after. Talk about your offense a little bit here too, because I mean you're not having any trouble scoring points. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean it took a little while, and I told the guys halfway through the second quarter, like, this is going to be the first one that runs out of energy, and so when we got into the locker room at halftime, I'm like, look, guys, I told you they're coming, and they're not going to go away. And again, you could feel even in that first half that the running game was there. It was just we were missing by 1 or 2 guys, and we made some adjustments at halftime. And the one thing I'm super proud of when it comes to our boys is that they're now starting to learn the game within the game, the X's and the O's inside. And when I have my offensive linemen coming to me and telling me that these guys are doing this, we need to make this adjustment. You've hit the nail on the head at that point in time. I got wide receivers coming to me and telling me that this is there. Our second touchdown to Caden, he's the one that told me at the timeout, he's like, Coach, this play is wide open. I said, all right, bud, then let's run it, and you're going to score a touchdown. And sure enough, he did. And so when I have the boys coming to me and telling me those kinds of things, that in turn ends up generally turning into points for us. Even Charlie Worsham, he came to me and said that our tight end dump is going to be open. And, of course, that's open a lot because of how much we run. But, we hit Maddox there later in the second half for a wide open touchdown. That was Plymouth Rocky football circa 1998 to Joel Grindle. He even texted me. He said, nice T-dump. So, yeah, it was there. It was just, and even Jaden, he's like, the run game's there, power's there. I'm just not hitting the hole quite right yet. And sure enough, there in that second half, after they scored on us, I said, all right, enough's enough. I put us in that heavy set in the backfield, and I said, we can play power football too. And that's what we did. And it was just right, left. poor North Judson's not going to have a whole lot of film. They're going to watch power right and power left. So they'll know what they need to try to stop.
Well, they'll be looking at it and saying, "Hey, that looks like us."
Yeah, it kind of does, really. I mean, they line up and come downhill at you.
Your offense has Jaden just has. You're seeing him gain that. They talk about vision with a running back, and having been able to watch him progress a little bit over the course of the year, reading zone blocks isn't that easy to do if you haven't been doing it, and he is really learning well.
Yeah, when you have a back like Jaden and Ryder, their vision is special. I had a buddy that was a college coach, and he used to say running backs are a dime a dozen, and I'm like, that's absolutely not. Of course, he was saying that because I was a running back, and I'm like, that's not true, because yes, anybody can line up and run the ball straight, and if they can follow the lead blocker in front of them, then great, they're doing a pretty good job. But the guys that have the vision and can set up their blocks, those guys are special, and we've got a couple of those on our offense. And I joked last night after the game in an interview, I'm like, there's so many weapons on our offense that we have between Cam and Caden, Ryder, and Gage, and of course Jaden's carrying. I mean, I think he had 30 carries last night. That my problem is just making sure they all get to eat a little bit.
Yeah.
And, it's a great problem to have, but I think I told the guy, I mean, we could line up 5 wide and make it an interesting game if we really wanted to. Now, obviously I'm a running guy, but I mean, we have the ability to do that here, which is crazy for a 1A school, in my opinion.
Now, you got a lot of players, and I said it to you this week, and they're freakish athletes too. They're big, they're strong, they're fast. You don't see that at a lot of small schools.
No, you really don't, and we are very blessed in that situation. We're going to come into the part of the schedule where some of these guys are as big and as physical as we are, and so that's going to be a test for the line. That's the one place I would say size-wise we don't have the advantage. But what we do have, to your point, this week is speed, and so we'll have to figure out how we utilize that here in the next 4 games. Well,
and you've got a big one coming up, North Judson, and then looking down the road, you got North Miami, you got Pioneer. I mean, this is your gauntlet.
Yeah, we're getting ready to go into a heck of a grind, and 2 things need to happen. One, we need to continue through our process and getting better, and the boys being more fundamental. But then also we need to stay healthy.
Yeah.
Because all these guys hit. I mean, we hit hard too, but so do they, and they have the same issues we have when it comes to depth. And if you can come out of this next 4-game stretch fairly healthy, with as many wins as I think we can get, then we'll have had a good stretch. So, to be determined.
North Judson, once again, it's just like I was talking with Jeff Kaiser here a second ago about Knox. I mean, North Judson's got to be a similar situation. It's not terribly hard to prepare. You know what they're going to do. But simulating that and learning how to stop it, that's the tough part.
Yeah, I mean, it's exactly what they're going to do. And at the end of the day, it's, are we going to be fundamentally sound enough and then able to execute in a violent manner on Friday night? And that's what it comes down to. And the boys are probably sick of me talking about it, but this is a game of violence, and it's okay to be violent on that field. We want to be good, strong men with great character off the field, but on the field, we want to be extremely violent. And they're starting to wrap their head around that. I think, I've finally hammered that home enough that they're starting to get it, because North Judson's going to be violent. Yeah. They come downhill and they like to hit, and that's great. So do we.
Well, Coach, I'll tell you, good luck this week, and we'll catch up with you a little bit later in the week and talk again Saturday as usual.
Thanks, Rusty. I appreciate you, buddy.
Andy Barker, the head football coach at Triton. So stay there. We'll be right back.
Coke Zero is now Coke Zero Sugar with great Coke taste. Some people were excited to hear the news. Some were skeptical. So we're not going to have the star of the show you're watching come out and say, "You'll love it." No special jingle written by this week's hottest pop star. No famous internet celebs who happen to be holding the label just so. Okay, maybe just one little portion. The only thing that will make you believe Coke Zero Sugar has great Coke taste is trying it yourself. Ice cold Coke Zero Sugar. Try one today.
Culver's Portside Marina handles all water and recreational needs. When it comes to pontoons, Godfrey leads the industry in performance and quality, and Portside Marina has them in stock. From Sanpan, Aqua Patio, Sweetwater, and Monaco pontoons, if you're looking for a family boat, Culver's Portside Marina can help. Discover the evolution of the wake boat through luxury models offered from Centurion and Supreme Surf Boats. Yamaha Wave Runners and Kawasaki Jet Skis are on the showroom floor waiting. Located at 514 West Mill Street in Culver. Stop in or call them at 574-842-5000. Culver's Portside Marina.
Back with Ron Braun, the head football coach at John Glenn, and I know the final score didn't come out the way you wanted it to, but you still got to be happy with the way you played last night.
I mean, I'm glad that the kids, fought all 4 quarters. We were continuously trying to score towards the end, wanting to, battle against our own improvements. So the effort of the kids was great. Not too big on moral victories, but the effort of our kids was great.
And I don't think people will – I mean, obviously, if they weren't following the score, you led a considerable amount of that first half, and at halftime, I believe, it was tied, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. The kids did a good job of, battling and scoring on the first, possession or the first drive that we had. And I think that helped us out for the first half to where we were in the lead, and they weren't able to just, totally grind out the clock. But, with their offense, it's very unique, and they're able to stay on the field for a long period of time, and it's hard to prepare for. So, the first half was definitely a battle and definitely a glimpse of what we could be.
How do you feel about both sides of the ball? I mean, ball is what I meant to say. Offensive, defensive head now.
I mean, in the grand scheme of things, did we do some things that other teams haven't been able to do against them defensively? Yeah, we did. Were we able to get off the field and not let them drive? We weren't. So, that comes down to fundamentals. It comes down to getting off the ball. It comes down to reading your keys properly and taking the right angles that you worked on all week. And you move some kids around to put yourself in the right position to try to defend all the gaps. And that was something unique for the kids to do. So I would hope when we see them again that we would improve on that. So, I feel all right with the effort. I don't feel all right with the technique that we used on our defensive side of the ball. Offensively, I think we did a pretty dang good job the first half. We were trying to make plays. We had a few turnovers where, a few things go our way and now the ball game's a little different story. We're in a shootout. We catch a few balls. We, do a few things. But, if, thans, and all that hand grenades and horseshoe stuff really doesn't matter, does it?
No, you're right. What do you break it down for us a little bit? I mean, when you looked at film last night, your initial feeling was what overall about what happened?
My initial feeling was great effort. You defied a lot of people who thought it was going to be 100-0. And you rose to the challenge of playing a very good athlete that was on the field and going up against a very, very well coached and offensive line and defensive line. So I can't knock our kids for their effort. But I don't think a single one of our kids was happy with that outcome. And we had all of those kids believing that they were going to go out and they were going to, play Knox and they were going to put themselves to have an opportunity to win the game at the end. And that's not what we did at the end of the game. We fell down by more than just a score. And so we're going to get back to work and we're going to improve ourselves and focus on getting better week to week.
You got a lot of young players. Do you feel that maybe they grew up a little bit last night?
I mean, I think a lot of these young players that we had, they grew up last year when they were forced into these same kind of positions, due to injuries, due to, just being better than some of the older kids that were on the team last year that they then had a chance to play. So I think they're already there and they're maturing and they're growing. So I definitely think that they're improving. And when you can have some sophomore players on your team that are making big plays, that's great. I think the way that Archer Russ presented himself, throughout the game, especially in the first half, was awesome. We had a point in the game where he got a little dinged up, and then Deegan Conroy came in and he didn't blink an eye, and he was ready to go, and so he was able to come in and he was able to sustain, some drives and make some plays. He had a great scramble, and so it's very nice when you have one of your backup guys at a position come in. He's a starter for us on defense, but backs us up on quarterback, and he came in and we didn't skip a beat. So that was nice to see. So I think that was a good positive that we were able to have people rotate right in there and play their positions.
This seems to be a recurring theme when I talk to you. Somebody gets dinged up and the next man up has a great game. I mean, you've got guys that are bought into that mentality, obviously, and that is going to pay dividends, I got to believe.
I mean, I think so. We had a lot of practice with that, last year having to deal with that. And so we've preached to the kids, you got to be ready. I know you may be young, but you got to be ready. You don't know what we're going to have to put together on the fly, and you like to be able to practice kids in the positions that they're going to play in that, but sometimes the plan doesn't go as how you think you did. And so, that's kind of just what happens.
Talk about moving forward now. What's going to be the focus of practice this week?
I mean, the focus of practice is going to be, we get to be able to practice against an offense that's not extremely unique. We're going to be able to try to fine-tune things. I mean, at this point in the season, it's not about your opponents. It's about what you can do and how well you can execute. And so execution, again, I know it's coach speak and you hear it from everyone, but it's true. You have to be in a position where you're not hurting yourself. And so if we can get back to that, we can focus on what we need to do. We can execute our plays both on offense and defense, and especially on special teams. Then you're going to give yourself a chance to be able to execute the game plan and to do the things you want to do. When you don't execute, you have to do some weird things and possibly things that you weren't planning, and I don't think that's what anyone wants to do.
Talk about Bremen a little bit. I know you haven't had a chance to really break them down, but I've had a chance to see them play a couple of times. What do you see the times you've seen them?
Well, they got 11 guys on offense and 11 guys on defense, and they like to wear green. So, I plan on them having their field all nice for us when we come over there and play them. And I'm sure that they have some really, fancy plans drawn up that they've been waiting all year to unload on us. And so we're going to get a typical Bremen team. They're going to expect to beat us, and we need to prove them wrong. And they're going to be well coached, and that's what we're going to see with them. They have a nice big line. They have some younger kids that are doing well. I mean, they beat Jimtown, last night, so obviously they're progressing. They're doing the things they need to do, and they're battling, and that's what you ask from your kids is the battle. So I expect a Lion team that wants to battle.
Well, Coach, thanks for taking the time, as always, and we'll catch up with you a little bit later here in the week.
All right, thanks so much.
That is Ron Brown, the head football coach at Triton. Stay there. We'll be right back.
When it comes to your money, you want a bank that understands you. At First Federal Savings Bank, we offer more than just a place to deposit your paycheck. We're here for you every step of your journey. Need a loan for that new dream home? We've got you covered. Looking to save for the future? Let's make it happen together. From personal banking to business banking, we offer full-service solutions tailored to your needs, online, in person, or over the phone. No matter where you are, we're with you every step of the way. First Federal Savings Bank, we don't want to be the biggest bank, just the best. Borrowers must meet underwriting guidelines. First Federal Savings Bank is FDIC insured and equal housing lender. NMLS number 399927. Looking for a stable career in an industry that doesn't slow down? Hoosier Racing Tire in Plymouth, Indiana is seeking motivated people who believe in quality and want to work in a safe environment. With thorough training provided for all positions, no experience needed. Second, third, and weekend shift production wages start around $20 an hour with potential at $25 an hour within a year. Quarterly bonuses, paid time off, and health insurance benefits that start on day one. Apply online at HoosierTire.com. That's HoosierTire.com. Hoosier Tire is an equal opportunity employer.
Johnson Danielson Funeral Home has been established in the community of Plymouth since 1879, and its staff is committed to providing care that goes beyond the expected in serving today's families who call Marshall County their home. They welcome families seeking options and alternative ways to pay tribute to someone, from burial packages to pre-planning to planning a checklist. The professionals, along with caring staff at Johnson Danielson, are available to assist your family 24 hours a day by simply calling 574-936-2829. Visit their website at johnsondanielson.com for a complete list of services. Johnson Danielson Funeral Home. Service beyond expectation.
Ben Shively joins us, our Tony the Boss Ross Athlete of the Week. And, man, congratulations on a really good game last week.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Let's start out with the start of the year. I mean, that was probably not the way you wanted it. I could tell by the look at it. Not the way you planned it. Maybe even mostly because there wasn't a W in there. But do you feel like now, the last two games, you're starting to really see what you wanted the season to be like?
Yeah. Starting to build confidence in our guys and, like, knowing what we're good at and trusting each other.
What do you think was the turning point for you as a player? I mean, there's points where the light just comes on and you say, yeah, that all makes sense now.
I think it was one of the last Columbia City drives. It was the last one before they took their their varsity starters out, and we scored on them. And I think that really showed that we can do it if all the pieces connect.
Talk about the process, too. I mean, obviously there is a jump from JV to varsity. And, I mean, everybody saw you were going to be a good quarterback. But there is a transition, isn't there?
Just probably the speed of the game. You just got to make your reads faster. I think that was the biggest thing for me from week 1 to week 3.
You got a lot of new guys, too.
Yeah.
I mean, they talk about that chemistry and that rapport has to be built. Do you feel like that's getting there, too?
Yeah, we drill our guys a lot. We work with our linemen, me and Finn, for about probably 20 minutes of practice. Just us, them, in the end zone, just working.
How about your receivers? I mean, you got some good ones out there.
Yeah. They work really hard, just watching them in practice, and they make me look good a lot of the time.
But you also brought up the linemen there. Talk about your guys on the front. You got some characters up there. I mean, you got some good guys.
Newest addition, John. He really brings our line together. He makes them work hard, and it's great to have him because we hated him when we had to go against him on defense.
So it's good to have him on your
side.
Yes, sir.
It's awesome.
Now, that's the other thing, too. You got a lot of guys that you don't really have anybody going both ways at all. I mean, how does that? I mean, that can have some chemistry things.
Yeah, I don't know. It just helped us a lot having him.
How about defensively? I mean, is there a kind of, I don't want to call it a rivalry, but I mean, you got to score now because we got to stop, or that kind of stuff going on?
Not really. I felt that the first game, but since we found our footing, I feel like it's gone down.
You feel like a lot of that, though, is pressure you're putting on yourself rather than putting it on you?
Mostly.
Now, let's talk about your family a little bit. I mean, your dad and your mom, what are their names?
Brody and Katie Shively.
I know, but I got to get you to say it, obviously. Your brother, I mean.
Cam.
Yeah. No rivalry there, I'm sure.
Nothing.
You are also a multi-sport athlete.
Mm-hmm.
Baseball, and then what do you do in the winter?
Just work out.
Just work out?
Yeah.
Baseball or football? What's your favorite? I'm going to put you on the spot.
Man, I don't know. I love them both.
Depends on what season it is.
Yeah. I'd say football right now. I'm having a lot of fun.
It takes a lot of preparation for both of them. I think football even more so between the years, don't you?
Yeah. But
what's the hardest thing about getting ready for baseball?
It's a long season.
Yeah.
Probably 3 games a week at least. That's probably the longest part.
And I mean, hitting a baseball isn't the easiest thing in the world to do.
Not at all.
When did you start playing baseball?
Since I was young, probably 5 years old.
How about football? I mean, obviously that had to be a little
That started
later.
a little later, probably, I want to say 10-ish at recess.
Were you the stud on the recess field?
One of them. One of the first picks.
Talk about what it takes to get ready for a football season, since we're in football season, because there's a lot of weight work, there's a lot of all that stuff. Talk about that.
Just watching film, just taking care of yourself. Probably the biggest thing is watching film and putting work in the weight room. Just a lot of things contribute to that.
Does it make it a long summer, or do you enjoy it?
It's not too bad. It's only 2 days a week, lifting almost every day. It's not too bad.
But then you got baseball, too.
Yeah,
that could be every day.
I dreaded baseball sometimes after football, but
Oh, yeah, because you got to be sore.
it was
Yeah, I
it
know.
was a decently long summer, but
I know what you're talking about. Summertime games were tough for us, too, even when I was playing, because you were playing basketball and everything else. And you'd come to games sometimes, it's like, oh, I'm just sore. I see by the look on your face, you had that a couple of times.
Yeah.
Talk about school a little bit for me. I mean, what's your favorite subject?
I take one of the fire and rescue CTE classes.
Oh, okay.
So that's probably my favorite right now.
How do you like that? I mean, I know they just started that.
It's fun. Well, we're in hazmat, so it's a little boring. But once we get past that, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Is that something you think you might want to get into?
Yes, sir.
You want to be a firefighter?
Mm-hmm.
What made you interested in that?
One of my baseball coaches over the summer, he just kind of introduced me to it and just fell in love with it. And so just taking steps to get in the right direction.
You took the class, and now you're ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
Have you decided on whether you're going to college or not? You thought about that?
I'll probably have to go for maybe a year or two, just Ivy Tech courses.
Okay. So aspirations to play sports in college, or just want to get on with your life?
Probably just get on with my life.
You know, a lot of guys are doing that now. I mean, they get there. I mean, my son did the same thing. It was like, I'm just ready to be a kid.
Yeah.
Can feel that way?
Yeah.
Well, man, I want to thank you for taking the time.
No problem. Thank you.
Appreciate it, and good luck to you the rest of the season.
Thank you.
And I'm sure we'll run across each other once or twice. Ben Shively, stay there. We'll be right back.
There's a trend happening around the educational world. More and more high school graduates are attending smaller community colleges to start their educational journey. At Marian University's Ancilla College, we welcome students from all walks of life. The opportunities at Marian University are endless, from living on campus to being a collegiate student athlete. From day one, your professors will help you create a plan for a success at Marian and beyond. Find out more about Marian University's Ancilla College through our website at marian.edu/Ancilla today.
And it's time to announce this week's Tony the Boss Ross Athlete of the Week. It's given in honor of a longtime Marshall County and Max 98.3 broadcaster who died suddenly a year ago, and it was long before his time. And his legacy of dedication to his craft, work ethic, devotion to the athletes and coaches in the area will never be matched, and that's the legacy that we try to honor each week with this award. And we'll tell you who this week's winner is right after this word from Johnson Danielson.
Johnson Danielson Funeral Home has been established in the community of Plymouth since 1879, and its staff is committed to providing care that goes beyond the expected in serving today's families who call Marshall County their home. They welcome families seeking options and alternative ways to pay tribute to someone, from burial packages to pre-planning to planning a checklist. The professionals, along with caring staff at Johnson Danielson, are available to assist your family 24 hours a day by simply calling 574-936-2829. Visit their website at johnsondanielson.com for a complete list of services. Johnson Danielson Funeral Home. Service beyond expectation.
And our Tony the Boss Ross Athlete of the Week is John Kleindens, the offensive and defensive lineman for the Plymouth Rockies. Will receive a certificate, a history of the award, a T-shirt commemorating his achievement. He'll also be a guest on the Saturday Morning Coaches Show next week. John will be eligible for our Tony the Boss Ross Max 98.3 Athlete of the Year Award. That's going to be later in the spring. and that carries with it a plaque and a college scholarship. Compliments of Max 98.3 and Johnson Danielson Funeral Home. It's the Tony the Boss Ross Max 98.3 Athlete of the Week. It's brought to you by Johnson Danielson Funeral Home here in Plymouth. Well, that is going to do it for another edition of the Saturday Morning Coaches Show. Make sure you join us this week, a big week of football, as always, which starts on Thursday night with Thursday Night Lights. We'll go around and catch up with all these guys again, football coaches around the county, and talk about their matchups for Friday. And then our game of the week this week is at Plymouth. It'll be the, you can only call it a battle, Plymouth against Warsaw. NLC game, that's going to be Friday night, our game of the week. Join Joe McKee and myself. Our pregame starts at 6:30, and the kickoff will be at 7. That's going to do it. I want to thank you for listening. Have yourselves a great weekend.